What's going on, everybody? Welcome to what's going to be the channel's first regularly reoccurring segment, Tales from the Gig. Stories about gigs and the crazy things that can sometimes happen at them. Now, for this segment, I want to invite everybody to come on in and chime on in and feature their own stories on Tales from the Gig. If you've got any stories that you want to be featured on Tales from the Gig, whether it be you just want to type it up to me and send it to me, or if you actually want to do a video and I'll feature it on this segment, please send any of those with the title in your email of Tales from the Gig to musiciangeek519@gmail.com. I'll include that in the link in the description as well too. This is not going to be just stories of mine from gigs, but stories from notoriously famous musicians and notoriously famous gigs, gone good and gone wrong. Basically anything and everything interesting that can potentially happen at a gig. So again, if you want your gig story to be featured on here, you can take a video of yourself, you can just type up something. Please send it to musiciangeek519@gmail.com within the title, Tales from the Gig. Really looking forward to get this segment going and to have a lot of people chime in with their stories as well too. So I'm going to start this off with one of my own stories, of course. This is going back to probably 90, maybe even 91. 14, 15 years old. I was playing in a three-piece band with a couple friends of mine. I was playing bass, had a guitar player, and had a drummer. Now, I think the drummer was actually legally of age to be in the bars at the time, maybe 19 or 20. Both myself and the guitar player were 14 or 15. What we were doing is we were just going to jam nights. Jam nights, basically an open mic night, but full production, full backline, drums, bass amps, guitar amps, everything. All you needed was your guitar to go up and play. Most of the time, if you knew the guys in the host band, they'd let you use their guitars or basses. So, I think this was a Tuesday or a Wednesday night. There was 3 jam nights in the city at that time. We did the first jam night, where you basically go in, you can play anywhere from 3 to maybe 10 songs, depending on how many other acts were there looking to get up to do jam night. So we already hit 2 clubs, but myself and the guitar player being about 14, 15 years old, we had curfews. We had to be back home at a certain time, otherwise we'd get in trouble from our parents. We were just teenage kids. We should have been playing at bars to begin with, but we were. We already hit 2 of the clubs that had the jam night, and there was 1 left. We started looking at our time, and I forget if it was me or the guitar player, but we were coming really close to when our curfews were, and the next jam night was on the other side of town. So I had my bass with me, the guitar player had his guitar with him, the drummer just a set of sticks in the back of his pocket. So we took a look at the time, and we kind of evaluated how long it would take for us to get there and get back home without missing our curfew, and we kind of came to the conclusion that if we were going to get there, we needed to run, and fast, in order to make it there on time to be able to play a few songs. So we started running. We started getting tired really quickly, the guitar player and myself, so we would hand off a guitar or a bass to the drummer, so that I would be able to run for a little while by myself without carrying a guitar. Then the guitar player would hand off, and we'd rotate it around, and we'd hand it off. So as soon as 2 of us were getting too tired, we would hand off a guitar or a bass to somebody that wasn't that tired, and we kept running till we got to the bar. When we got to the bar, there was the host band and maybe 2 or 3 drunks sitting at the bar. But it didn't matter. We were there, and we got to get up and play. We played one of our instrumental originals, a blues jam, and a couple other songs, maybe 2 or 3 songs. And then We made it back home, running once again, while rotating off. All of us, taking turns being the one person that didn't have to carry an instrument while running. The point of the story is that sometimes you have to remember why you do this. The things that we complain about these days when it comes to gigs, not having a certain amount of money, not having, things set up the gig, things going wrong, all that. You got to sometimes think back to why you do it. Couple kids, 3 kids, literally running as fast as they can so they can go to a bar for 3 people and play 3 or 5 songs for free, just so that way you can get up on stage with a PA and play as a band in front of an audience, even if it is just 3 drunks on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night. Sometimes you have to remember that. That is why you do it. You do it for the love of it. Sometimes you got to forget about getting caught up and all the other details about things, and you just got to do what you can to get to the gig and have some fun. I think about that. I try to think about that as often as possible when I get caught up on all the details about the gig, pay, how big is the place, is there going to be anybody there, did anybody respond, did anybody care? Just think about that. Go back to when you're 14 years old and you would literally run through half the city, switching off to one person, not having to carry a guitar or a bass. So that way you can go to a gig, even if it is just a jam night for free, to play a few songs in front of a couple drunks and go home and make it home on time. Well, I guess that does it for the first episode of Tales from the Gig. Again, everyone, I want to build up this segment to something that's opened up to the whole community. Let's get anybody and everybody that has stories about their own gigs, friend of theirs gigs, stories that they've heard about. You can have yourself included in the video by recording a video of yourself telling the story, or you can just type it out, send it all to musiciangeek519@gmail.com and put in the subject, Tales from the Gig. Thanks for checking out this video, everyone. Do what makes you happy.